Everyone, I'm SATYAM GAZMER, B.Ed trainee of second semester from Siliguri Tarai B.Ed College and Siliguri Primary Teachers Training College, and I'm here to teach English of class 11 from the CBC board. And today I'm going to teach from the snapshot, and the topic is The Tale of Melon City by Vikram Seth. Now, before starting the poem, I would like to tell something about the poet. Vikram Seth was born on 20th June 1952 in Kolkata. He was an Indian poet and novelist and travel writer known for his first novel The Golden Gate 1986 and his epic novel A Suitable Boy 1993. He attended exclusive Indian schools and then graduated from Corpus Christi College, Oxford, and he did BA in the year 1975. He received a master's degree in economics from Stanford University in the US in the year 1978 and later studied in Nanjing University in China. In 1987, he returned to India to live with his family and in New Delhi. So this is something about the poet Vikram Seth. Now I am going to explain you the poem. In the city of which I sing, there was a just and placid king. The city in which the poet lives, there was a calm and placid king. The king proclaimed an ark should be constructed that triumphantly would span the major thoroughfare to edify spectators there. Here it is saying that the king announces that a beautiful ark or monument should be constructed, which is to be curved shaped on the top, which symbolizes the king's victory, success and honorable achievements, so that the people becomes happy by seeing that ark. Like as we all know that every place has its own speciality, like in Agra the Taj Mahal is there, which is built by Shah Jahan and all. The workmen went and built the thing. They did so since he was the king. The king rode down the thoroughfare to edify spectators there. Now, as soon as the king ordered to build the ark, the workmen constructed the ark, and after finishing the building of the ark, the king comes and stands on the ark and see the people around him from the top of the ark, and people could see him too. Next, under the ark he lost his crown. The ark was built too low a frown. Here it is telling that the ark was too small that the crown of the king fell down. Appeared upon his placid face, the king said, "This is a disgrace." Here it is telling that as soon as the king's crown fell down, the king becomes very angry, and king says, "This is a disgrace," because the king had ordered to build a beautiful monarch, but it is too low that the king could not even stand with his crown. The chief of builders were to be hanged. The rope and gallows were arranged. Now it is telling that the king gives the punishment to the chief of builders to be hanged, and rope and gallows are to be arranged. The chief of builders was led out. He passed the king. He gave a shout, "O king, it was the workman's fault." "Oh," said the king, and called a halt. Now here it is telling that as soon as the chief of builders came to know, they said, "King, it was not their fault. It was the fault of workmen." After hearing this, the king did not hang the chief of builders. Next, to the proceedings being just a placider now, he said, "I must have all the workmen hanged instead." The workmen looked surprised and said, here it is telling that by seeing the further proceedings, the workmen were to be hanged instead. But the workmen were surprised and said, "O king, you do not realize the bricks were made of the wrong size." Here it is telling that O king, it was not their fault. It was the bricks which were wrong in size. So they blamed to the masons. Now the workmen blamed to the masons. Summon the masons, said the king. The masons stood there quivering. Now it is telling that the king called the masons and masons were to be punished. By hearing this, the masons were fearing now. It was the architect, they said. The architect was summoned. Now it is saying that when the masons were caught, masons said, king, it was not their fault. It was the fault of the architect. According to the architect, we have made this, and according to the chief of builders and workmen have made this. And after hearing this, the king says, call the architect. Well, architect, said his majesty, I do ordain that you shall be hanged. Now it is telling that king says to the architect, you have done the mistake and you shall be hanged. Said the architect, O king, you have forgotten one small thing. Now it is telling that the architect says, O king, you have forgotten the one small thing. Next, you made certain amendments to the plans when I showed them to you. Now he is telling that now the architect says you have made the changes in the map. It is according to your plan. The architect had made the arc. Now architect blames to the king. Next, the king heard this. The king saw red. In fact, he nearly lost his head. Now, when the king hears this, the king realizes what had happened. Is it my fault? The king thinks that he is justified king, and he thinks that it is I who would be punished. But being a just and placid king, he said, this is a tricky thing. Now the king says, this is a tricky thing. King says he do not understand what he should do. Now next, I need some counsel. Bring to me the wisest man in this country. Now king says he needs some wisest man in the country for the council, that what the thing is going around. So he needs to be counseled. The wisest man was found and brought, nay, carried to the royal court. And now the wisest man was found and brought to the royal court. He could not walk and could not see, so old and therefore wise he was. And the wisest man who was brought, he could not walk and he could not see, and he was too old, and he could listen the whole thing, and he could give some suggestion, that he could come to the conclusion what who was the culprit and who was to be punished. But in a quivering voice he said, the culprit must be punished. Now after hearing all the things, the wise man which was brought in the royal court and said to the king that the culprit must be punished. Truly the ark it was that banged the crown off, and it must be hanged. Now the wise man who was old and who could not walk and who couldn't see properly, he said that truly the ark was built too low and the king could not stand on his feet, and he said that the culprit who did the mistake to build the ark too low was to be hanged. So today I will explain you till this much, and I am going to explain you the next lines in the next video. So till now we see that the king who was very calm and placid in the kingdom, that he tries to build the ark for its beauty and glory, and gives the order to his workers, but it was not built up to the mark. So the blame was from the one person to the another. Till now we come to know this. So next I will explain you in the next video. Thank you.